One thing that Photoshop is most known for is adding, removing, or altering the contents of a photo. For instance, when someone looks at a magazine and says that photo's been photoshopped, usually what they mean is it's been altered to the fact that the person almost looks unrealistic, meaning pimples have been taken away, fat's been sucked in, eye color has been changed, and so on. We can get into the ethics later, and some people have different ideas about that, but I'll just show you the tools and we can talk about that stuff later. The first tool we're going to talk about is right here, right above the paintbrush tool, and that's the spot healing brush tool. All these other tools in this same category all deal with different types of altering parts of an image. So we're going to first start with this part. I'm going to zoom in to our subject here, and as you can see, he has, well, actually already, there we go. Okay, that's the original picture. He has multiple pimples on his face that I'm going to remove just to make it look better. This is a senior I took several years ago, and usually for senior portraits you don't want a big, zit on your forehead or on your cheek or anything. So I'm going to help him out here. What this tool does, you want to make it about this, a little bit bigger than the size of whatever you want to take away. In this case, it's this pimple. You want to hover your mouse directly over it so the whole circle is covering that area. And when you click it, what Photoshop does is it takes a sampling of the area that's around on the outside of your circle, and when you click it, it brings those pixels inside. So as you can see, around this circle right now there's a whole bunch of flesh color that's pretty clear skin. So what it's doing is copying that and putting it inside the circle and replacing that pimple with the new skin. So same thing. You can change the size by using the bracket tools, just like we did with the brush tool earlier on in the semester. So for these smaller pimples, I want to scale my brush down even farther. You can also click and drag if I have a whole area. And just like it worked, like I mentioned previously, anything around the outside of that dark area, Photoshop's going to take a sampling of and bring it to the inside. So it's going to get rid of all those areas. Now let's say for his cheek here, I want to get this done fast, so I'm going to make a big circle, and I'm just going to cover up all these pimples here. Take them all away. Okay, so let's see what happens. Now that does not look good, obviously. So what it did is, since I had such a big area, it took a sampling of all the area around that spot and it filled it in. So obviously we got some of his eyebrow. It looks like part of his, the corner of his mouth there. So you can't just use this tool and cover up all his cheeks, all his forehead, and make it look good. You have to scale it down and do pretty much one or a couple pimples at a time. So that looks a lot nicer. And you want to leave the moles alone because that's usually what deals with the person. Pimples come and go, but moles are just a part of that person. Now let's say I have this circle and I'm going to click this. You can see that I'm kind of hovering over the line of his mouth, his mouth smile line. And if I click that, you can see it starts to mess up that nice line that he had. You really don't want to start messing with those lines. You just want to get the pimples you want to take away. So you can't hover this cursor over a line, you have to just do it over a spot instead. That made sense. Like I couldn't click here because it would start to mess up that line of his nose. Now obviously this isn't just for pimples, you can also use this for other areas. Let's say on this telephone pole I wanted to get rid of these black areas. You can do the same thing. And that's how that tool works.